And next, all about those new home videotape machines and how yours might get you into trouble as the morning exchange continues.
Perhaps you saw the ad in the paper yesterday of the Bill Jaycock's series of reports on video piracy and the new home videotape machines. We saw a picture of a man in a nice suit behind bars. And the reason he was there, the implication is because he had pirated something that he wasn't supposed to have. He had stolen. With us this morning is a man who understands what's going on in the business. He is Jules Yarnell, who is special counsel to the Recording Industry Association of America on the questions of piracy. And we're going to talk a little bit about the rules and the laws that obtain in the matter of these home video units that we have here. What is piracy?
Piracy is the unauthorized duplication of sound recordings, motion pictures, videotapes, any intellectual property that is copyrighted.
And piracy is against the law almost by definition, I guess.
Well, it's against the law federally. It's against the law in about 49 states of the United States. It's against the law in most of the civilized countries in the world.
Mr. Yarnell, if somebody were to record the morning exchange program on their home machine and then play it back in the evening for somebody else, would that be piracy?
Yes, it would if the morning exchange were copyrighted, as I assume it is, and there is some value to having that available for redistribution at a later date.
That'd be the question, though, wouldn't it? If you were just going to do it for yourself, would that be against the law?
Well, if you do it for yourself, you're still violating one of the requirements of the copyright law, which gives the exclusive right to the copyright proprietor to portray that particular program, to display it. It's not only a question of whether you're doing it on a commercial basis to make a profit. The new law that became effective January 1st of last year took away the profit element.
Well, it almost sounds as though these things are just implicitly illegal.
Well, they can be used for making TV movies of your baby's first steps, probably even a birthday party in the home, but in my own opinion, using them to reproduce broadcast either movies or television programs is actually a violation of the rights of the copyright proprietor.
Well, these things are advertised all the time as being the perfect way to find out what's going on television when you're not at home. And people have little clocks on them here, and you set them up, and you cause them to turn on at a certain time. The receiver is built right into the instrument right here. You don't even have to have a TV set hooked up to it. And you can get Starsky and Hutch if you're not at home, or the Super Bowl if you can't happen to be there on Sunday afternoon, and tape it and look at it at later use, maybe even have a group of people in. Now, you're suggesting that that very likely is a contravention of the laws on copyright.
I would say so, yes, sir.
Well, gosh.
What's your industry going to do about this? Because this is the rage. I mean, these things started out, costing $1,500, I think now.
This is $650 right now.
That's right, and they're probably going to be cheaper than that before long. What can you possibly do about this?
Well, MCA Universal and Walt Disney Studios brought an action against the Sony Corporation, the Sony Corporation of America, number of distributors, retailers, and in fact, several home television users, based on the use of the Sony Betamax. And of course, in one of the allegations in that case, which I think give the case the strongest flavor, is the use by the manufacturers and the distributors of that product of advertising, which leads the public to tape movies and syndicated shows. Now, I don't know whether you're familiar with it, but there are organizations that sell overseas and to oil rig installations and to various subsidiaries of American corporations programs that appear in the United States regularly to keep the expatriated Americans informed and amused. And one of them is Overseas National, ONISI, O-N-I-S-I, which handles the 60 Minutes program, I think CBS News. Others handle WABC's Wide World of Sports.
Well, I got to believe, though, that the average criminal type who buys this machine doesn't care if the people that you represent, your authors, your actors, get any money or not. What does he care? He has this thing, and he records the programs he wants, and I can't believe that the police of Brook Park or Shaker Heights or some other suburb around here are going to break down somebody's door and seize their videotape of last Sunday's football game.
Well, it's unlikely that they'll be breaking down doors. The question of doing it in the home for your own use is one that entails a lot of policy considerations. People do consider their home the castle, and I'm sure that the concentration would be in the areas where it's done on a commercial, large-scale basis.
But the real truth of it is you can't do anything about the individual in his home, can you, who records for the amusement of himself and have his friends over and doesn't sell them?
Under appropriate circumstances, I think it can be, because the law is what makes it illegal. And the fact that people do it doesn't make it any more legal or moral. You have people buying stolen merchandise from fences. If you know that you're paying $50 for a brand new 21-inch color television set, you know darn well that it's not because you're a very good bargainer that you're getting that price. That's hot. And people do it.
And so what's happening is that anytime there's a really consequential film on television, people are setting up their little home recorders and they're grabbing that, and then they're making dubs for their friends. Perhaps they're selling them. I noticed the other day some people were arrested and charged with piracy and will possibly, after a trial, end up in jail.
And they claim they're collectors.
Mm-hmm. Collectors.
I guess, as the officer who was previously speaking said, everybody claims that he's the victim of police brutality. The FBI has been doing a really marvelous job in the protection of copyrights.
Won't it really boil down in the final analysis, though, to the fact that if this is a bigger industry than the people you represent, that this is going to win? Because that's where the dollars are.
I really don't know. I think the courts are not quite that attuned to the commercial aspects. I think that a small company can very frequently beat an IBM in the courts, and that's been demonstrated. So I don't think the size of the industry or the size of the defendant or plaintiff is really the determining factor. If the law is clear, the courts will apply it.
Well, over here is the playback of what he just said.
Let's record Mr. Yarnell commercially now, and we will sell his tape, and we'll put him in jail.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
We're taping right now, as you can see.
That's right. We're committing a violation right now, aren't we?
Although, I don't know.
No, this is your program, and you're perfectly at liberty to take your program.
No, I'm going to sell it.
You sell it? As long as I get my cut, it's all right.
Okay, let's take a break here. I'll stop this thing and we'll wind it back and look at it. It'll probably be real interesting. See what's going to come out over there. We'll be right back. We'll take some questions on this subject. Jules Yarnell is with us this morning, and the subject is piracy. We'll continue after this. He's talking about piracy of the materials that are broadcast. I guess the thing is that the things that we broadcast are the product and owned by the people who create them. And if you record them, then you're taking something that belongs to somebody else and using them in a way that they were not intended to be used. Do I have that right?
Yes.
Is that the way the industry views it?
Wasn't there years ago, I recall, a lawsuit brought by the music licensing people against stores that played like they've rebroadcast FM stations through their PA systems?
Yes.
Illegal.
Yes. I think that was the chicken case.
Chicken?
Yes. Involved a sort of fried chicken type of restaurant. And there had been many cases for years involving the use of broadcast music in stores and in restaurants.
This is the same kind of thing then, basically, isn't it?
Well, it's going a little beyond that. There they were playing it for the public, and there was a definite commercial purpose. It's somewhat different if you play.